I don't even know, but I'm comfortable with it. It works for me. Well, thank you so much. This stuff is calling, or babysitters coming up the road. Yeah, we just had a library for 17. It was a lot. 16, 16, 17. Beach, Gibraltar Beach. Used to work over there.
Online? I don't see anything on the screen. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order. The Council and Committee meeting for the town of Petawawa for May 27th, 2024. Welcome to members of council, staff, and once again, we have quite a few guests with us this evening, so thanks for coming. We'll begin our meeting with the reading of the land acknowledgement, and tonight Deputy Mayor Savarin will read the land acknowledgement.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As we gather this evening, I would like to acknowledge on behalf of the Petawawa Town Council and our community that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe people. We would like to thank the Algonquin people and express our respect and support for their rich history. And we are extremely grateful for their many and continued displays of friendship. We also thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. And we wish to acknowledge our shared responsibilities in responding to the Truth and Reconciliation Commission 94 calls to action. Calls to action number 11. We call upon the federal government to provide adequate funding to end the backlog of First Nations students seeking post-secondary education. The new programs are intended to enable First Nations to transition from the current suite of post-secondary programs to holistic approaches that are responsive to First Nations local priorities and needs, and post-secondary education programs tailored to their cultural and educational needs. Much still needs to be done to close the post-secondary education gap between Indigenous and non-Indigenous students.
Thank you, Mayor Savarin. Deputy Mayor Savarin. That was a Freudian.
Thank you, Mayor.
Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest in any of this evening's matters? Okay, and just for council's information and for everybody else's information, Item number 2 under the Public Works Department report is going to be removed from this evening's agenda and be brought back for future discussion due to a correction being required on that portion of the agenda. Okay, we'll carry on with tonight. We have a presentation. We have Mavis Tetlock here, and looks like you brought a backup support system with you as well. Mavis is here to talk about the closure of potential closure of the Petawawa Golf Club and Banquet Hall. The floor is yours, Mavis.
My presentation is against the closing of the Petawawa Golf Club and its impact on the town of Petawawa. This presentation isn't to lay blame, but to find a solution. The Petawawa Golf All-Rank Service Club is in jeopardy of closing forever without identifying the unsafe conditions at building Q103 that threatens the operation of the golf clubhouse and banquet hall. I have a question of, what's the Petawawa Council's position on the closing of the golf club, and what are you doing? You don't have to answer that now, but to think about it. With the closing of the golf course, it will adversely affect the physical, social, and mental health of our serving Canadian Forces CF personnel and their families, as well as many military and civilian electoral residents who have decided to stay in Petawawa area after retiring from the CF and the Department of National Defense, DND. By being designated an all-rank service club, instead of being segregated by the mess rankings, the golf club is an area where all ranks can associate together for unit activities to boost esprit de corps and harmony. Currently, the golf club has 50 military-related functions booked. The golf course is also used by many local businesses and community guest golf groups to host their own fundraising golf tournaments. Their financial losses must be considered too. The town of Petawawa could be adversely affected by residents and businesses leaving the area and greatly reducing the desirability of others coming here to spend their tourism dollars. The Golf Club Banquet Hall is a popular venue for celebrating community or personal banquets and meetings. The Government of Canada Bulletin for Garrison Petawawa, the 4th Canadian Division, Ontario Recreation, starts with the heading Outdoor Splendor and describes that the area is for the outdoor enthusiasts regardless of season. The options are numerous. It also states that during the summer, your options include a relaxing round of golf on our 18-hole course. In the 2023 Personnel Support Programs Garrison Petawawa Information Guide, Colonel Guinea's welcome message broadcasts the fact that the garrison and the town of Petawawa share valuable assets by saying the garrison and the town have a bright future with millions of dollars in planned infrastructure investments in the upcoming years. This will help our team members find affordable housing, enhanced recreational opportunities, family support programs, and modernized work environments. You will see both the garrison and town grow during your tenure here. In Colonel Guinea's April 30th, 2024 CTV News interview, he incorrectly mixed infrastructure funds and operations funds together by saying that $7 million would be needed for unspecified infrastructure renovation repairs to building Q103, which funds are also needed for the health and safety needs in support of upgrading operations. Why is the garrison trying to get rid of a valuable infrastructure asset for both the garrison and town of Petawawa by denying the resources required for the efficient operation of the Petawawa Golf Club? Sorry about that. Everyone I've spoken to about the CTV News interview say the same things. This doesn't make sense. Something is missing. There's more to this than what is being said. We don't know all the facts. A half-truth is a full lie. The talk on the street is Q103 has been slated to become offices with a view, which will require infrastructure funding to correct the unknown, unsafe conditions, plus renovation expenditures for individual offices. Personnel Support Programs, PSP manager, is mandated to directly be responsible for providing the morale and welfare programs and services to all current CAF members, veterans, and their families at Garrison Petawawa. The Garrison Support Personnel Garrison Petawawa Information Guide has never featured the golf club in any of the positions, despite the fact that the golf club is a recreational activity, a sports activity, and an all-ranked service club. The guide does print a panoramic view of the garrison, including the marina and the golf course fairways to the golf club and beyond. From 2016. The Real Property Operations Detachment, Petawawa, is mandated to provide real property performance management through the compliance oversight and risk management, ensure that real property requirements are set out in policies, directives, and standards, and applicable codes and practices are adopted on behalf of the DND and the CAF and are implemented. The Defense Real Property Portfolio Strategy, Part 5, portfolio tiering, it identifies a Tier 1 as the property asset has high financial performance and aligns well with strategic objectives of DND and CEF. Tier 1 options are retain or renew. This includes the 25% of DND and CAF assets that are over 50 years old. The two-level portion of Building Q103 for the clubhouse and banquet hall meets all of those objectives for the military and civilian population in Petawawa by the fundraising events held at Building Q103 and the physical, social, and mental health benefits for the DND and CAF members. These facts have been confirmed by the almost $2 million investment over the past 3 years in Q103. This set a legal precedent that the unidentified, unsafe conditions warrant correction as the value of the infrastructure asset has not changed. Miraculously, even though they would be experiencing the same unrevealed, unsafe conditions, the Petawawa Gymnastics Club and Army Fitness Center, located in Building Q103, will not be closed to its membership. The members of the Petawawa Golf Club won't be as fortunate. The 9-hole course was built between 1957 to 1963 and expanded to an 18-hole course in 1990 by the internationally famous golf course designer Graham Cook and Associates. Concessionaires Paul and Karen Cody, plus the 20 employees of the Petawawa Golf Club, will have their jobs effectively and permanently terminated. The official plan, Town of Petawawa, Part 1-4, assumptions of the plan, is based on the assumption that the federal government will continue to support Garrison Petawawa, the former AECL, thereby maintaining a stable foundation for the town economy and population. Part 11.1, general goal and intent. Its vision is that Petawawa is a healthy, vibrant community that promotes a high quality of life through the provision of recreational opportunities for residents of all ages, and includes the Garrison Petawawa St. Donald Hall, the former Twin Rivers Golf Club, Black Bear Beach, and Craft Ground. On TV News, May 7, 2024, Dr. Mark Trombley, Chief Scientific Officer for Participation, stated the 2024 report card on physical activity for children and youth gave Canadian children a D+ grade for overall physical activity, up from a D in 2022. The report shows only 39% of youth ages 5 to 17 are getting the recommended 60 minutes of moderate to vigorous physical activity every day, thereby putting our next generation at a higher risk of heart disease and related complications. The Petawawa Junior Golf Program has 83 children as members. The $30 per year, the children have free weekly instructions, free admission to the course every day, and free Sundays after 1 o'clock for the children and their families to bond and enjoy a relaxing round of golf at our 18-hole course. Plus, the junior golf program features 6 junior fun days with free food and prizes, and their parents also play for free. This is supported by the Days and Lee Memorial Golf Tournament, which will also cease to exist with the closing of the Petawawa Golf Club. How do you compare a relaxing round of golf on our 18-hole course to running around an outdoor or indoor track, or using indoor exercise machines wearing earplugs or headgear to block out the noise? I believe that the status quo is the best option for Garrison Petawawa and the town of Petawawa by identifying and fixing the unknown, unsafe conditions by possibly using military or civilian tradespersons who are already on the payroll, start a GoFundMe campaign, and, most important, reinstating Paul and Karen Cody's concessionaire agreement so the Petawawa Golf Club remains to provide this important support for the physical, social, and mental health of our military personnel and Petawawa residents. 3 articles in the Legion magazine, May to June 2024 edition, are prophetic. Michael Smith writes about the increasing PFD rate at Garrison Petawawa. Paige Jamin Gilmore writes that the rate of reported sexual assault in the CAF has more than doubled from 1.5 in 2018 to 3.5 in 2022. Gregory Lick, ombudsman for the CAF and DND, says his office is ineffective because it reports to the same organization is responsible for monitoring, and then it should be solely accountable to Parliament. When a monetary cost is involved, then the PFC morale and welfare service of the CF community becomes just talk with no action. The article about the PTSD issues at Garrison Petawawa is further highlighted by the recent suicide of 2 female soldiers serving at Garrison Petawawa. What monetary value is a soldier's life? Please save the Petawawa Golf Club and building Q103. You never appreciate what you have until it's gone. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mavis. It's obvious that you have a great deal of passion for the Petawawa Golf Club. 40-year member. And I'm sure you're not the only one. I know there are other people here, and I'm sure there's other people in the community that share your passion for the golf course as well. I grew up here in Petawawa, and as a young fellow, that's the golf course I learned to golf on. So it means a lot to me as well. Before I go any further, though, I'll open it up for members of council for questions or comments. Councilor Driscoll.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mavis, I can definitely echo all the things you're saying. I have organized multiple tournaments at Garrison. I've dealt with Paul and Karen Boss. They're great people. The golfers where I learned to play golf as well. I would love for them to be able to find a solution. And I mean, all we can do is continue to put pressure on them. But I mean, you definitely have my support, and I think that we should try to find a solution to it.
Thank you.
Further questions or comments? Deputy Mayor Simon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Mavis. It's very obvious that not only are you passionate about it, but it goes right to your core. So thank you very much for a very well researched and presented presentation. I look back over the years that I was employed on the base in military family support, and the number of families, as you said, that have enjoyed that golf course. It's got an absolutely stunning view. It's something that we've bragged about in not only the town of Petawawa, but of course on the Garrison. I too would like to see a solution found. I would like to see some dialogue. I guess my question to you is, have you made this similar presentation, or have you shared these notes with the powers that be so that they're clear on the information that you're also sharing with us?
Well, I started with writing to Cheryl Gallant, John Yakubowski, and Gary, of course. And then I've also reported, I sent in the CTV news about the course. I've been to Daryl's golf website, you know, for the military golf and that. I have composed a letter that I'm going to be sending to all the commanding officers of all the units on base. But this was more important because, you know, you guys are, you know, you're important. And it was in that, and I plan on going further, you know, I'm not gonna quit until, you know, we save the golf course, because it's really, really important to the community. Really important. You know, you just talk to anybody and everybody knows about it. And I have a petition that I'd like all of you to sign, if you would.
There are questions or comments from members of council? So maybe I'll just say thank you again for bringing this to us and all of the information that you brought forth to us, especially the historical aspects. Some of that I wasn't aware of. I thought the 18 holes were there long before 1990. I guess the memory of my childhood is not that sharp. But we too, I know we represent the town of Petawawa, and we too would like to find a solution moving forward for the golf course. We hate to see it close, for sure. We are in constant contact, and we do have dialogue with the garrison. And if any solution that they can come up with, we will support. And if they do request our support in some way, we will support them any way we can as a municipality, keeping in mind that it's a federal land and a federal golf course and we are a municipality, but we will do what we can, especially if the garrison asks us for some kind of support. We'll be there to make sure that we can do whatever we can do to keep that golf course open.
Are you going to ask the garrison if if you can support them? And have you talked to the colonel?
Yeah, so we meet with the garrison and their leadership group, not often, but once in a while. And we have been having discussions about the golf course when we meet. And we have offered our support to the base commander and to the powers that be up there.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you again for coming. And for those of you who came to support Mavis, we are going to carry on with the rest of our municipal meeting here. And it is really exciting. You're most welcome to stay if you wish, but if you want to take this moment to sneak out, that's okay too. We won't be offended. Okay, so we're going to carry on with our economic development report. The monthly report for April 2024. Christine Mitchell. Report for April.
Good evening, members of council and staff. So this is the report for the month of April, given today on May 27th, relating to the report that's in front of council members and was part of the agenda package. There was a lot of discussion on community improvement plan with various businesses within the community. The relocation and permitting requirements for Geneva of Law and Order Burgers. A subsequent grand opening event is being planned for that business on June the 3rd, which was circulated to you this evening. Further discussions with joint venture partners on metro lands regarding possible development opportunities. And we continue to meet with Mr. LaPointe on a regular basis regarding the Wolf Plaza development refurbishing. Other highlights include the Culture Connect event that the municipality, specifically the container market, is partnering with the local immigration partnership group during the month of June. The event will take place on June 22nd, and it is an opportunity for newcomer businesses to participate in the container market, exhibit cultural awareness activities, and there will be the Ottawa Tuskers come, and there will be a cricket match as part of that particular event moving forward. We did purchase and install the 7x7 containers. So there are 2 there now and operational as part of the market program. In other activities, I attended the Renfrew County Housing Needs Summit with the mayor and the CAO. I did have my staff members' first day of orientation, which is exciting for a department of 1 to become a department of 2. Participated in the Algonquin College Rural Perspectives and Economic and Social Trend in Canada webinar that was held recently. And of course, it was showcased. So there was a lot of work and activity around participation at Showcase, creating the marketing materials, and attending and conversing with the businesses and the community at large. And that is a summary of my report.
Thanks, Christine. Any questions or comments on the economic development? Councillor?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Christine, I get asked every week, what are the timelines for how we do with Metro? What's their vision here in the coming weeks?
They are ahead of schedule. They have not given a firm and final date, but it is pending very soon.
Thank you.
Kind of answer that may not satisfy me. Councillor Coutu.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just to say, when I went to the opening of the container market, our new employee Rudy Cadlin was there, and it was great to know that you were getting a much deserved rest and work at every event, and also they did an amazing job. So I'm really proud that your department has doubled in size.
Further questions or comments on the report? Christine, if I could just ask you a quick question about the Culture Connect event at the container.
Just more information on it? Yeah, so Culture Connect, through the local immigration partnership group, does activities in the month of June every year. It's part of their mandate to raise awareness for equity and diversity and newcomer opportunities. So we did have the opportunity to be a partner and sponsor one of the events. So we are coordinating that. So the newcomers will have a space at the container market to sell and showcase their wares. There will be activities promoting cultural awareness. And then the Ottawa Tuskers are going to have a cricket tutorial, which the public can participate in. And then a game that they will host as well as part of the event. Now it's a very busy day going on in the general area. There's also a softball tournament and other activities, but these are the realities of summer, and it's a good opportunity. And a media release was released today about the same through the local immigration partnership.
Thanks. And yeah, congratulations on your department doubling. And I went to an event at the container market and you weren't there. And I thought, finally. A Saturday and Christine gets to stay at home with us. And Rudy was there running the show quite capably. So that was great to see. Any other questions or comments? And I need a motion to accept the report. Moved by Councillor Root, second by Councillor Donovan, that the Economic Development Monthly Report for April be accepted as information. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's carried. Okay, next we have ED-04-2024 Community Improvement Plan for 1945 Petawawa Boulevard. Christine?
So this property is a known entity within the town. It's the former Benville Yamaha, former Ottawa Valley Yamaha location. It's currently under lease for gearheads who will be relocating under new ownership to that particular business space and expanding their product line and product services, or that's their anticipation. So there is some proposed work that is to be done at 1945 Petawawa Boulevard. So the leasee, in this case Gearhead, is requesting as a first-time request for financial support under the CIP program. They are looking for up to $5,000 under the building facade improvement for the replenishment and repositioning of doors for the ease and facilitation of their proposed business functions. They are also looking for up to $5,000 under the accessibility grant for the installation of a ramp for one of the entrance areas and automatic door openers to all of public doors for the location. And finally, they're looking for up to $5,000 under the signage grant for the property's pylon structure and sign lenses. There is currently no pylon structure that exists at the location. There is underground infrastructure for electrical, but there is no official pylon. So this would solve a long-standing miss on this piece of property that exists there. It does support the initiatives of CIP and enhancing the property's curb appeal and supports an inclusive, accessible retail and service space for the proposed client. Council did allocate $90,000 in the current budget envelope for funds under CIP. There's currently $60,000 that are available, and so the $15,000 eligible request from this client is certainly feasible. And so it is the recommendation of staff that we proceed and offer them the opportunity to receive the grant of up to $15,000.
Thank you. Questions on the report? Deputy Mayor Sadler.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Christine, I'm in support of this request. I'm particularly excited about the accessibility feature. One of the concerns of people who live with varying abilities is being able to access businesses. So good on them for addressing it. Thank you.
Further questions or comments? That's great. Go ahead, Councilor Donovan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Teresa stole my point there. But I did want to add to that as well, that as things move forward, I know the Petawawa Accessibility Advisory Committee would enjoy being involved and finding a way to promote this business having that accessibility. So just keep us in mind for that.
Okay, and I think it's great. It's always nice to see a vacant business get built rather quickly. So it's great to see that somebody's moving in there and will take over that vacant spot. And we hope that where they're leaving, it won't take long for the owner of that particular building to fill that empty spot. Okay, so if everybody's comfortable with that, I need a motion. Moved by Deputy Mayor Saffron, seconded by Councillor Coutu, that council under the Community Improvement Plan adopted by bylaw 1441/21 enter into the necessary funding agreement with the applicant for the following CIP financial incentive program. Up to $5,000 under the Building Facade Improvement Grant, up to $5,000 under the Accessibility Grant, and up to $5,000 under the Signage Grant. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's carried. Okay, next we have ED-05-2024 Community Improvement Plan for 14 Canadian Forces Drive Unit 2. Christine?
Yeah, so this is a request from the owner occupant, coming to the town of Petawawa, the Ottawa Valley Vision. They are the second unit within the new business space that's being shared with Victoria Cleary's property. The request under CIP is for facial signage. It's a first request by this business owner and has been upheld before in the CIP request for Victoria's property. The applicant is eligible to receive the funds under the program, and the request is for up to the $5,000 under the signage grant. And it is the recommendation of staff that we do support this particular application, as the neighboring location did receive the same amount of support.
Thank you. Any questions or comments on this report? Okay, if everybody's comfortable with that, I need a motion. Moved by Councillor Root, seconded by Councillor Driscoll. The council, under the Community Improvement Plan adopted by bylaw 1441/21, enter into the necessary funding agreement with the applicant for the following CIP financial incentive program, up to $5,000 under the signage grant. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's carried. Maybe I can ask you one quick question before you. Any news on when that development can open?
So the Victoria portion of the property is more advanced than Ottawa Valley Vision in terms of ready for occupancy. My understanding is this Wednesday is the final walkthrough to gain occupancy. It is the hope of Ms. Cleary that she is an occupant of that property as of June 1st.
Nice. Thank you, Christine. Okay, next we have the planning and development report. I'll invite Karen to the mic, and Melanie is back up. Or is Melanie taking the lead?
We're sharing.
You're sharing? Okay, just before you turn that mic on, I just want to let everybody know, staff, members of council, our vast audience there, and the millions watching at home, that this is our Director of Planning and Development's final meeting of her career. Karen Cronier has been with the town of Petawawa for the last 18 years, working in the planning and development department. And your last day is June 1st. Did I get that right?
This Friday,
Oh, this Friday.
31st.
This Friday, the 31st. So for those of you watching at home, this may be the last time you see Karen on YouTube for Town of Petawawa meeting. But on behalf of council and really the entire town of Petawawa, thanks for your 18 years, Karen. I'm not going to say you're the busiest person, because that might offend our other department heads here. But you certainly have been, over the last 18 years, one of the busiest people here in the town of Petawawa. I did have, and I sent them away for framing, but I had a satellite photo of the town of Petawawa from 2008, and I had one from 2018, I think it was. I wish I had them so I could hold them up, so people could see what you've been a part of for the past 18 years. And the county this year in 2024 is sending up the planes again to get another satellite photo. So we'll get another one for 2024. And I think if people saw the 2008 photo and compared it to this year and knew that you were involved in every building that went up here in the town of Petawawa since that time, or just about every building, their mind would be boggled that you had a hand in all of that development. So thank you for all that you've done and all the hard work that you've done. And I think nobody deserves it more than be able to go home and put their feet up and enjoy a beverage on the deck and to take it easy for a while. So thanks again for all you've done on behalf of the town council. And now your final.
Thank you. Maybe I'll say my thank yous first before I come into the report. It's been an emotional time, so I'm not going to go too deep into that. But as we've been working through our transition and working with Melanie, I've enjoyed the past several with Melanie. Certainly, I want to thank Mayor, Deputy Mayor, all council members for all of your support over these years. It's been absolutely amazing. All of the council that I've worked with the past 18 years have been extremely supportive and respectful and engaged, which is fantastic. The opportunity that I had for actually professional growth started out as a planning tech, moved on to planning coordinator, and had the opportunity to mentor with Charles Cheeseman at the County of Brantford to get my professional planning designation, which obviously set me up great for the directorship. But that wouldn't have happened without council support either. So going forward, Melanie, we lucked out with Melanie. You're in very good hands, and it will be very exciting to see the next stages of development in town. I'm planning to absolutely walk through those doors of food basics eventually. They are coming. Hit the comfort station and take a look at what that looks like as well. And I look forward to a lot of the additional developments, economic development, Petawawa sign project, Christine go to. And again, thank you all very much for the opportunity to serve the county of Petawawa.
Okay, and thanks again. And I know we welcomed Melanie before, but welcome again. Melanie is now going to take over the lead role in the Planning and Development Department as the director. And I know these two together.
Last week, 8.
It's already.
So it's been an intensive mentorship program, let's say, to impart all of that knowledge of the town of Petawawa at such short a time. But if anybody can handle it, Melanie can. So thanks again, Karen, for everything, and welcome to Melanie. And now your report for May 2024.
Yes, I'll close out with the last report. Just to provide you with a few highlights of May 2024. The Whitewater Restaurant, that agreement has now been finally registered, and hopefully we'll be seeing a building permit in the near future. The Public Works Office Edition, of course, the notice of public meeting, the minor variance was approved on May 6th. Final date of appeals was today, and there were no appeals, so that becomes final and binding now. The same with the Petawawa Animal Hospital. The zoning bylaw was passed on May 6th. Final date of appeals was again today. So we will be able to finalize the terms and conditions for the sale to Dr. Scantlin, and we understand that looking in August, so that's good news. The LaPointe development was also registered, so we can close that file. The H&H construction, of course, as Melanie explained at the last public meeting for that zoning bylaw amendment, that zoning won't actually come into full force and effect until such time as the County of Brantford finalizes the approval of our official plan. Melanie will be providing a report on the kennel, Richard and Diana Dog, zoning bylaw amendment application. terms of Red Key Estates or subdivisions, the solicitor is now doing additional revisions, so a second round has been completed. And that's of course for the 52 lots in phase 2 of Red Key Estates. Lots of information back and forth on the Black Bay Road subdivision. We're moving forward very well with that application. They've actually been able to increase the density, so additional lots, and some great parkland opportunity as well to create that additional parking for the Algonquin Trail. Emergency planning, that will no longer be reported through planning and development, but has of course been passed on to the fire department. And those are basically the highlights of the report.
Questions, comments on the report? Good job. No questions or comments, so if everybody's fine with that, I need a motion. Moved by Councillor Carmody, second by Councillor Patu, that the planning and development monthly report for May be accepted as information. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's carried. Next, we have the building activity report for April 2024. Karen?
Yes, so as you can see, we doubled the building permits from last year, so 68 permits compared to 34 last year. The CDO and building inspector remain to be very busy, and if you have questions that anybody has.
Questions on the building report? Nice to see we're maintaining our level of development. You're always concerned that, well, I guess at some point it may slow down, but it doesn't seem like this year is going to be the year. So that's good to see. I need a motion then to accept that report. Moved by Councillor Roos, seconded by Councillor Driscoll, that the building activity report for April be accepted as information. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's carried. And then we have PL-18-2024. Zoning bylaw amendment, JP2G Consultants Incorporated for Richard and Diana Dobb, part of Lot 3, Range B, Biesenthal Road. Ellen, you doing this one?
Just before I give the planning report, the staff report on the zoning amendment, I just wanted to take my opportunity to thank Karen for her mentorship and support over the last few weeks. It's been great. It's been training on steroids. But really appreciate all the time that she's put in with me, and also to town council and staff for the warm welcome. So thank you, and look forward to forging on and seeing where we can take Petawawa. So heading into the staff report, it's provided for information purposes only tonight. We have a public meeting scheduled for June 17th for this application. As the mayor mentioned, it's on Biesenthal Road, the Alder Creek Tunnel. And basically what's happening with this property is the current owners are ready to retire from owning the kennel business. They applied for severance to sever their existing dwelling from the kennel portion of the property. One of the conditions of the severance was to rezone the property. Looking at the official plan, the lands are designated appropriately, so the application is in compliance. The zoning is a little tricky. The property is zoned residential 3 currently. So to enable the severance, there has to be a little bit of a complicated zoning amendment. The severed parcel with the existing dwelling would be rezoned to a residential 1. And then the retained parcel that will have the existing kennel also has to be rezoned, and we would rezone it to an exception zone to do a number of things to recognize the existing kennel, to reduce the lot frontage. And then in the zoning bylaw, there's the minimum distance separation requirements for kennels. So in this case, we would have to reduce the minimum distance required from the kennel to the residential lot line, the new residential 1 lot line that we would be creating.
And then also reduce the distance from a panel to a new dwelling so that a new house can be built on the panel property. So in essence, that is what the zoning amendment will be about. And there's a public meeting, like I mentioned, on June 17th. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions or comments from members of the council? I just have one small question in terms of the other dwelling that's going to be built on the RUE 19 property. Is it, I'm assuming that the person building that house is going to be the person running, operating again?
That is the assumption in the planning justification report.
Okay. Okay, any further questions or comments? Okay, we'll receive that as information. Thank you, Melanie and Karen. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have the Public Works monthly report for April 2024. Chris. And looks like Don is joining you today. Everybody's bringing back up today.
Yes. Have some extra resources within our department. So I use them extensively. Okay, thank you, members of council. Good evening. Monthly report for April. Up to this point, my director's updates have basically been laying out the different projects that we have coming up, showing how they relate to the strategic plan. And essentially now the table is set, so you're going to be seeing probably a little different layout as we move forward in construction, but we'll just go through them quickly. Public Works Office expansion has been awarded. I'm hoping construction will start in late June. Comfort Station is proceeding well and should be ready for completion by the contractor at the end of May. We do have some work to still complete with our own resources before we can officially open the building. Wade Contracting has agreed to leave the security fencing on site for us to do some of those additional work. So those will be coming in the weeks to come. Wolf Avenue is under construction and proceeding very well. They're working on road excavation now, but the sewer relining is complete, which is fantastic. So that project is proceeding well. June 3rd is the tentative date to commence Portage Road Phase 2. So that project will also be starting very shortly. Murphy Road Urbanization. The tentative kickoff date is late. Construction start is late June. We do have a kickoff meeting, I believe, next week with members of JP2G, EI Construction, the county, and the town. So that project is also moving ahead nicely. As well, a nice update for our Public Works in-house projects. So the Laurentian Drive MUP is scheduled to, multi-use pathway is started, slated for construction to begin the first or second week of June. And as well, Black Bay Road will be starting June 3rd. So we have the survey layout complete. We've moved the mailboxes so that we can allow for the paved shoulders. Letters will be going up to the homeowners soon. So nice to have that project also getting started shortly. So Public Works is going to be very busy this summer for sure. Fleet procurement. We have the tender for the loader coming very soon to council. As well, we have our request for quotation for the town hall electric vehicle, which will be going out very soon as well. And then on the water and wastewater side of things, the update on the net zero project, as well as the grid tank repairs. There's a closing date for that tender as is June 4th. So I believe as far as all of our capital works programs now, with the exception of closing of the electric vehicle, I think we hit on pretty much all of them. So that's if I could add a crystal ball and say that I'd be sitting here at the end of May with all of those out and tendered and closed, I think that's pretty darn good. So I'm happy with that for sure. As far as Public Works updates, there's on page 48. Again, our April was a nice easy month for winter control, which is fantastic. And a couple other notes, the ORV trail opened on May 1st. Our in-house sidewalk and road sweeping is complete, as well as our contracted sweeping. And all our plow restoration work is complete. So the public works staff are working really hard to take care of those items, the spring cleanup items to free our loosen up the deck so that we can get at construction. So everything's going really good at public works as well. 153 locates completed in the month of April, which shows that we're certainly getting an uptick in locates. There's lots of work going on within the town. And then on page 50 and 51 are March and April. There's 2 months of updates for the water and sanitary reports. There was 1 month missed, but they've caught up now for March and April. Nothing of any concern there that I noted. So I believe that's everything. I'm happy to take any questions.
Questions on the report? Just a couple, the Laurentian muck. I know on that section of the road, I know there's some sections where the muck is offset away from the road and there's a bit of a gravel area. And then it goes back where right up against Laurentian Drive. It seems like this section is a little further away from Laurentian Drive, so is there gonna be a little gravel piece or is it gonna be right next to the road?
Our intention, Mayor Service, is to have it adjacent to the road. It seems to be the best solution to address the drainage issues. There were some sections that had ditches and culverts that allowed us to bring it in closer to the property lines. But the sections where it's adjacent to the roadway, those were areas where we had inherent drainage issues before. And the first 2 phases that we've done in past years, it's worked really well. We haven't had essentially no drainage issues being reported from the homeowners along the multi-use pathway. So I think we're going to continue in that construction method.
Thanks. And the electric vehicle and the charging station. Obviously, you can't have an electric vehicle without a charging station. Where are we in terms of getting a charging station probably at the town hall?
Okay, so the grant idea for the charging station unfortunately didn't pan out due to the way the grant is structured. It didn't allow for the right type of charger that we need, or it just wasn't going to work for this stream. There's another stream of funding coming out that we can look at, but this current funding didn't match with what we were trying to accomplish. But I can say that purchasing a charger, like a single-use charger for the vehicle, is not all that inherently expensive. It's about $2,500 to $3,000. So I think the plan is to address the charger with a single purpose charger just for this vehicle, and then when the next round of government grant funding comes out for charging stations, we're hoping that the changes in the grants will allow us to bring in public chargers a little bit easier to town hall. So that we haven't forgotten about that, and we'll be following up on that again. But we do have a path forward to deal with this vehicle.
Okay, thanks for that. Any other questions or comments? Then I need a motion to accept the report. Moved by Councillor Root, seconded by Councillor Carmody, that the Public Works monthly report for April be accepted as information. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's carried. Next, we'll go to PW-18-2024 Sustainability Plan Community Transportation Program. Chris.
Excellent. First one, to thank Dawn again for her help with this report. Some of these reports require a lot of background and research, so certainly this was one. So I'll take us through it, and Dawn's here to assist me. So if I nudge her or kick at the table, that's me calling a friend for help. All right, so we'll start with the recommendation. Staff are seeking council direction on how to proceed with the community transportation program following the close of the MTO Community Transportation Grant Program on March 31st, 2025. Okay, so some background. So report admin 04-2018 was Community Transportation Grant Program Municipal Stream, which was essentially staff looking to apply for funding request for local transportation project under the Community Transportation Grant Program. So staff went to council to seek approval to apply for the grant, which we were successful in attaining. Care for Health and Community Services agreed to partner with the town of Petawawa to implement a Petawawa dedicated transportation service to meet unmet needs of daily living for vulnerable sectors, specifically seniors, those with disabilities, and low income. The town of Petawawa's application under the Community Transportation Grant Program Municipal Stream with the Ministry of Transportation announced in May of 2018 for a grant not to exceed $499,800 over 5 years. So that was to cover the term April 30th, 2018 to March 31st, 2023. So the door-to-door transportation service started on April 1st, 2019, fully equipped, 7-seat, 9-passenger vehicle is spaced to accommodate 2 clients in wheelchairs with a fare for service in the defined Petawawa boundary, $10 per trip, per return trip, and $5 for one-way service. The COVID-19 pandemic had a significant impact on the delivery of this service, so the Ministry of Transportation extended the grant program by an additional 2 years, which takes us to March 31st, 2025. And the grant amount was also increased to $656,959.69. Under discussion, as part of our annual reporting to MTO for year 6 of this grant program, the town is required to submit a service sustainability plan. This plan is meant to describe the strategy to maintain the community transportation service implemented as part of the grant program after the completion date of March 31st, 2025. And this service sustainability plan contains 4 parts, and they are listed right there. Funding, strategy for fundraising, strategy to work with community organizations, and service modifications for sustainability. In the event the town Petawawa was unable to maintain the community transportation service implemented as part of the grant program after the completion date of March 31st, 2025 to a level that is the same or above that provided under the grant program, or chooses to discontinue the community transportation service, the town of Petawawa will need to provide a description of the strategy it will implement to mitigate the impacts of this change in service on clients and passengers. Below, you'll see on page 57, there's a ridership statistics chart, which shows that the program has grown consistently over the years and is in all aspects a very viable program. Under maintaining community transportation service, in the opinion of staff, the only way the town of Petawawa can continue to provide this service is to partner with a third-party provider. Care for Health and Community Services is committed to providing the service until March 31st, 2025. Staff has communicated with Care for regarding their interest in continuing the service for an additional 2-year period, taking us to March 31st of 2027, to fulfill the service sustainability plan. Care for has confirmed their interest in partnering with the town of Petawawa to continue the program based on the current service provisions. The next 4 sections of the report outline the components of the service sustainability plan. I won't go into great detail with those, but certainly answer questions at the end. The one item that was important to note under the strategy to work with community organizations to deliver service, which is item number 3 found on page 59 of the plan. We reached out to 9 community groups. They're listed there. And we received really positive feedback actually from 7 of those community groups that are certainly in support of the transportation plan and would like to see it continue. Okay, and that takes us to page 61 of the report under options for consideration. Staff is seeking direction from council on how to proceed with the community transportation program following the end of the grant program on March 31st, 2025. Does council wish to continue operating the community transportation program through a partnership with Care for Health and Community Services? Does council wish to cease operating the community transportation program? If council is interested in providing a transportation service beyond the scope of the current service provisions, The study would need to be undertaken to determine if such a service would be viable and or economically feasible. And under lastly, under financial implications, if the community transportation program is continued under the current service provisions, an annual budget of $80,000 to $100,000 should be considered for 2025-2026 and fiscal year 2026-2027. As well, a new accessible van may be required to be purchased either during or following 2026-2027, which would be eligible for funding under the provincial dedicated gas tax funds for the transportation program. If council wishes to conduct a community transportation study, this would be considered also as part of the 2025 budget deliberations. That's essentially the report. Again, the portions of the service sustainability plan, if there's specific questions on those, we're more than happy to answer them, and turn it over to council to ask questions. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Chris. There's a lot going on with this.
Yes.
But I must say it has been, you can see by the ridership numbers that it has been a very valuable service here in the town of Petawawa. And it was a great grant program that allowed us to undertake this transportation system to provide to the residents of Petawawa. I guess I'll just ask you one question before I open it up. So now that this grant program is ending, the provincial government has nothing that's going to take its place that we can apply for?
So following the end of this grant program, the provincial gas tax program has opened that we can apply to use funding. So there is a section in here where I got a quote from the ministry, and it is an estimate because it's based on the funding envelope for this current year. But for 25-26, potentially we could receive $74,000 and $82,000 for 26-27. But again, it's based on the municipal spend on your own program. So the funding can't exceed 75% of the municipal spend. So, that's a good program.
Okay, I'll open it up for questions. Councilor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for bringing the report forward to us. Thank you. This is definitely something that I think we have to continue to move forward and to keep it operating. There is a need, and there's going to be a greater need in the future. So this is something that I would definitely be supporting. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Donovan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As well, I want to express how vital this service is to our constituents and their ability to move around. Certainly with three identified user groups that were critical for having access to this. Thank you for the presentation. I think the information is very important, and I definitely support the request.
Councilor Kennedy.
Thank you for your service. I'll echo my fellow councilors and say that it's very, it's a good service that people are obviously using on a regular basis, and the ridership numbers are showing that, but it's becoming more popular all the time. So definitely support this service, the continuation of this service.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Saffron.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I too am in support of continuing the service until the end of March of 2027. I just do have two quick questions. You said that possibly at the end of 2026, maybe to the end of 2027, we may need to purchase the vehicle. And it cost us $80-some thousand or whatever. So that would be an additional expense going forward. More importantly, is the fee that we charge. Do you see that remaining static at $5 for one way and $10 for a return trip?
Through our current discussions with CARE4, we see it remaining the same unless there's something unforeseen were to occur. But with the municipality continuing to budget between 80 and 100,000, I don't think we would need to increase rate.
Thank you. I'm very glad to hear that.
Just follow up on the Deputy Mayor's question about the possibility of buying a new van. On the one chart there, it said potential capital expenditure of 130. Is that the predicted cost for a new van, 130,000?
I would say that's a high estimate, but it's probably better in this case in the report to estimate on the higher end of what we think a veritable van would cost. The current unit is in relatively good shape. So we'd have to look at that as we move forward with the program on when the right time is to replace it. But certainly I could see 100,000 as being a fair estimate. We paid 80 for the first one. Prices aren't going, so.
And just another follow-up on that line of questioning. Underneath that, I mentioned that there's a provincial dedicated gas tax fund for public transportation program. And maybe it's just the way it was worded, but it almost seemed like if you apply and say you're buying a new van, that it's almost guaranteed that you'll get funding from this grant program? Or is that just wishful thinking?
If we're successful in getting the grant, typically most municipalities are like locally, the city of Pembroke and Laurentian Valley received the grant to operate the Pembroke Candy Bus. And those funds that you receive from the provincial government through that gas tax program are eligible for capital expenses to purchase a new vehicle.
So you're saying there's a chance? A very good chance.
Yes.
Okay. Any further questions or comments? Councillor Cuckoo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you so much for this report. Same as my fellow councillors, I definitely support continuing the community transportation program. My question is about the community transportation study. I was just wondering, in your conversations with our partners, I'm glad to hear their feedback on the program as it is, but did they identify to you that there were, and I'm assuming yes, but did they identify any gaps still remaining, any sort of specific areas where we would target this inquiry or information we might be looking for with that kind of study?
We did not proceed beyond what Care4 is able to offer because they're the service provider and those are three groups that they support. We couldn't change what we're currently offering and have them provide the service.
Sorry, I'll clarify. Did they bring up any sort of gaps that they're seeing from their clients' point of view?
From their clients? No.
Further questions or comments? Just I guess, clarification about Care4 and the partnership. So option number 1 says continue a partnership with Care4 Health and Community Services. What does that look like in terms of funding or financial resources that we're getting from our partners? Or are we getting it from?
They are providing service and municipalities paying for it, paying them to provide the service.
I think I understand. Okay. Another question. So the third one talks about providing a service beyond the scope. And I'm looking at the ridership numbers here increasing steadily each year. With the current situation, with the one van that we have, are we providing everything we need? We're not, there's not times when we can't take somebody somewhere because this individual is too busy driving all the time. So I guess what I'm saying is at the present level of service, are we getting everybody to where they need to be?
This is another reason why we did partner with Care4 is they do provide a large repertoire of services. They do medical travel, which Petawawa clients can use as well to travel to Ottawa and such. But again, you do have to be a client of Care4 to access the service and again to access our portion of the transportation program. So they're able to leverage different vehicles to continue to provide the service.
Okay, so it sounds that in the present situation with the van that we have, we're providing everything we need for the residents of Petawawa with the additional support of Care4 and their other means of transportation.
Just a yes for those three user groups.
Any further questions or comments? Okay, so you see the three options. The first one is, does council wish to continue operating the community transportation program through a partnership with Care for Health and Community Services? Option 2 was, does council wish to cease operating the community transportation program? And option 3 was, if council was interested in providing a transportation service beyond the scope of the current service provisions, a study would need to be undertaken to determine if such a service would be viable and or economically feasible. So after our discussion, is anybody comfortable moving one of those three options? Councilor Ritz.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and definitely, yes, I would consider, I guess would be number one then, to move forward operating the community transportation program through the partnership with Care for and Community Services to continue that service. Thank you.
Is there a second? Second, so it's moved by Councilor Roots, seconded by Councilor Driscoll. What do you want me to read here?
I think if there's an interest though in going beyond the scope of the service, you also have to conduct a survey. Correct me if I'm wrong, Don, but would you not want to combine number 1 with number 3?
Registered option 1,
Just doing
from my understanding.
Yeah, just do number 1.
Okay, so I'll go up and read that top paragraph and then the option number 1.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's moved by Councilor Roots, seconded by Councilor Driscoll. The council provides direction to staff on how to proceed with the community transportation program following the close of the MTO Community Transportation Grant Program on March 31st, 2025. And we're going with option 1, which states council wishes to continue operating the community transportation program through a partnership with Care for Health and Community Services. Did I get that? I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's carried. Thank you very much, Chris and Don. That was, oh, we're not thanking Chris, just Don. I guess there'll be a report forthcoming on how this has all been rolled up.
We would have to amend our current agreement that we have with Care for to extend it by 2-year period.
Okay, thanks again. Again, there's nothing for general matters, nothing for close. I need a motion to adjourn. By Councilor Donovan, seconded by Councilor Driscoll, that the meeting be adjourned at the following mayor. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's carried.